Is he getting better, remaining the same? How's he doing?
I would say he hasn't regressed, which is a good thing, but it also hasn't resolved to the point that the soreness has not resolved to the point that under our situation with three goaltenders and Comrie and Upi playing well in their last two games, we're not pushing it. Based on all of that, there's no need to push it. We have three goalies, and that's the luxury when it comes to this. But we're waiting for some more soreness to resolve for him.
As far as Alex goes, just he puts a lot of pressure on himself. I guess how do you help him deal with that pressure he puts on himself? Because
well, you got it. Yeah, you see it back behind the scenes how much pressure he puts on himself, and a lot of it, after a certain amount is negative. It's very negative. He can get down on himself. He can pull himself out of things because he's so hard on himself. And you see that, we see that, behind the scenes, and try to communicate the best we can with him. That's a nice part of having Kevin so close with us as a general manager. He can speak to the guys about his experiences of ups and downs in his career, as do the rest of the guys, Danny Girardi and on and on. So I think everybody pitches in when we see, and Alex is not unique in that. Lots of guys are very hard. Usually the most competitive guys are kind of the hardest guys on themselves, and sometimes they hide it. But in this case with Alex, you try to communicate with him as much as you can, and not just me as one person, but our entire staff. And we, even when we were building our staff, we thought of that. How are we? Do we have the right personalities, experience to provide for the players' needs in situations where they are challenging themselves to really disrupt the functional way of what they need to do?
Alex and Jeff were such a successful line last season, but the changes that you've made, you've been able to have four lines rolling a few games. And what do you like about the way that top group with Greenway, Tage, and Dillon have really maybe set the tone with the way that they played sort of a hard and direct way so far?
Yeah, that line has played hard and direct because he is a very straight line player, which drives defensemen back. There's not, he's not going around on the perimeter to look for a play. He's driving defensemen back, and Greenway is the same. And I just felt, or we felt, I should say, that through watching it last season, that was a real benefit to Tage, to have that straight line guys driving defensemen back, keeping pucks low, extending possession with physicality, puck protection, which provides a little wear and tear. And you mentioned top line, and the key is to not have a top line. The key is to have top lines, and with Middlestead, Tuck, and Skinner, you have that. And I say that because we aren't the ones to decide who our top line is. It's the other team, and who are they matching against? Are they matching against the Thompson line, or are they matching against the Middlestead line? Their top defenseman, their top checking line, and we've seen that alter a bit. Which means that you've got two top lines and two lines that preoccupy the opponent. And I've talked about the importance of that and the importance of offensive depth for that reason. And if we can get that going better, that's a very, very powerful thing that we have not yet gotten to the point where I think we can. And that's a bit of an initiative for us to get that to move in that direction.
How much does the steps that Casey continues to take, how much does that help you with that to kind of balance things out up top?
Middlestead's progress is a significant help in adding depth, which really challenges the opposition, and that's why you guys know I've stood pretty tall with Casey for the last couple of years. When things weren't looking so good for him, or people were on him, my stance was he's going to do it, and we need him to do it. And we're starting to see why, that we felt that strongly about him and about the need to get him, to move him along. He's always shown talent behind the scenes. You see what these guys are capable often in practice, even weeks or months before that translates into a game. So, we have a little bit more hindsight, a little bit more scope into the potential of each of these guys, and As we're seeing that come to actuality, it's pretty impressive with Casey.
What have you seen with Tage when it comes to his defensive side of the game? Obviously, the offense is there, the shots are there, the goals are starting to come. But what is it with is there something about his defensive side that's kind of grown?
Just maturity. He is recognizing the impact of getting pucks back faster, of getting off of defense faster, or spending less time on defense. I mean, obviously, it's simple math. You kill a play sooner, you get to offense more often, and he's looking and studying the game more in that way than he had in the past, which will benefit him and his line mates even more. And the penalty kill, he's been much more in tune with that position and positional responsibilities, which will also bleed into his 5-on-5 game. He's been much more focused on that and developing those aspects this year, which has helped.
Your first goal where Casey did quickly turn that puck into offense, getting up to Alex Tuck, and then Alex executes the 2-on-1 perfectly. Did you think to yourself, he'll be fine? Once you saw Alex do that play, that now he's going to have confidence through the rest of the game, but being able to execute the way he did on that play?
Yeah, first on that play, it's just what Joe was talking about with Tage and defense. That play came because Casey Middlestead recognized there was a kill opportunity in the defensive zone, and he jumped a guy that was isolated, broke the play up. They thought they were on offense, and we go down on a 2-on-1. So really nice play by Casey there. As far as your question on Tuck, you knew before the game that he was in the right place. We had some meetings and did a little video with him to kind of help him and communicate back and forth with him. What are you seeing on this play? Here's what we're seeing, to hopefully give him a better focus. So we knew he went into the game with a better focus. I think he felt better after meetings. And so when you see him score, the first thing he goes, this is great. He got rewarded for it. He got rewarded for his work, his focus. The hope obviously would he be getting more on track and more like himself, and he looked that way through the rest of the game.
Fighting. I mean, he had one fight in his career before Saturday. Now he's 2 and 3 games. I mean,
He's probably leading the league in fighting right now. Yeah.
you know he's not going to back down. But I mean, you're okay with him dropping the gloves once in a while?
I mean, I love the energy. I love the emotion. There's lots of parts to love about it, specifically sticking up for teammates, sending a message you're not going to be pushed around. So there's so many good things. But at the end of it, he's a goal scorer. And quite frankly, if that helps him energize right now and get back to his game, I absolutely love it. But yeah, you also think about risks of when you have a very talented player dropping the gloves, and those are not fun to think about. So, do I want him doing that? No, certainly not on a regular basis. There are exceptions, and I'm okay with that. Just let's not make a habit of it. Would probably be my take on it.
Were you surprised that Brady Tkachuk didn't get suspended, or did you get any communication from the league on that?
I love your question. How do you say you plead the fifth, or yeah.
Rasmus has been very involved offensively. What have you liked from him early on?
Well, I'm happy the contract's done. I think that was a lot for him and for Owen Power to go in. You can say what you want. It's a lot to think about. He wanted to have his future here. So when that contract got done right at the start of the season, we saw a different guy than we saw in training camp, and a more free. And when he's free, his hockey sense combined with his compete are the two striking attributes that factor into his good start. He's got incredible hockey sense. The other night he picked off a play in the neutral zone, went in, set up the play. I think on Cousins' goal. So you see both hockey sense and compete, and he's in the flow now. He's in a groove now, and I don't think he was in that through training camp.
When it comes to Ukko, obviously he's had to get used to a new type of cycle or rotation in order to stay here and prove his spot in the room. How do you think that could work for his compete level at his age? And maybe how do you think the other night's performance kind of puts a stamp on what he's been working for? Yeah,
first of all, on Upi, his performance the other night was great. Secondly, this is not new for Upi. The 3-goalie thing it's what he had to do It's what every player has to do before they get to the NHL, and he's never been an established NHL goalie. So until you're an established NHL goalie, you're on call. And that's all these three guys are. They're on call. And, you know, none of them were established NHL goalies and starters. So this is very natural for them to be in these situations and have to stay ready. And we saw Comrie do a really nice job with that. And I think, you know, we knew he's been through that a little bit more. He's had a lot more, I should say a lot more. He's had a lot more experience, and I think that helps Upi. Again, having Comrie around and being as professional as he is and dialed in, you've got to wait for your opportunity. And in the process, you always look at the process, and he kept himself very prepared. We could tell that, so we went into the games with confidence that the process for Upi was right on target. He never lost focus. He never hung his head. And again, very, very good and very nice to see him then perform very well.
Depending on how long it takes for Devin to heal up, and with the other two goalies playing well, do you foresee a possibility of Devin going down to Rochester for a game or two for a conditioning stint?
Hasn't even entered my mind at all. Just hasn't. I don't think he's been out that long, and I think he fits the same thing I just said. I don't think he would need games to get ready for a game here. Just knowing him and the way he prepares. So haven't really given a thought. Just that's something that comes to mind as you mention it.